Hello friends, welcome back to the lectures on management, and we are into the introduction part of management. And the introduction to management is not complete without talking about Harold Kuhn's and Cyril O'Donnell's essay in Management, a System and Contingency Analysis of Managerial Functions. Basically, management introduction cannot be completed without talking about 5 functions of management which we have been learning. The first one is planning, which is there on the screen. Second is organizing. Third is staffing. Fourth is directing. And fifth is controlling. This is given by Harold Kuhns and Cyril O'Donnell. And each of this function we are going to discuss in detail. The first function which we are going to discuss in detail would be the first function of a management, which is by any means, it is planning. We all have been performing this function of planning in our personal lives, but this planning function we also implement, we also follow, we also perform in business environment. When we talk about planning here, we are basically talking about the mind work which goes before the actual management starts. The sketch work which is there in the mind as to who will perform what work, how much resources are available, how these resources will be utilized, and with all this, what are we trying to actually achieve? Let me read out some of the critical points in this planning process. The one which are highlighted, I would read them. Planning means looking ahead and chalking out future course of action to be followed. So it's a forward-looking function. From here, next 3 months, how we are going to operate our factory, how we are going to operate our business, that is a part of planning process. So it's looking ahead and chalking out future course of action to be followed. Why are we doing this? We are doing this to achieve the organization goals, organizational objectives. So for achieving an explicit organizational objective. But to do all this, there has to be a solid understanding of vision and mission of our organization. Because everything happens within the light of vision and mission of our organization. So if our vision and mission of the organization is very clear, that will also be reflected in our planning process. Moving further, let me read out some of the definitions with regard to planning. The first one is given by Urvik. According to Urvik, planning is a mental predisposition to do things in orderly way, to think before acting, and to act in the light of facts rather than guesses. Lot of things covered in this definition. The first point this definition says is, it's a mental predisposition. Basically, planning is a function of mind. What mind thinks and finalizes is a function of planning. Then the definition says to do things in orderly way. See, even without planning, we can perform our work. But without planning, the work performed might end up in a complete mess. And therefore, to give an orderly structure to our workings, we need to first sit and plan our work. To think before acting, and to act in the light of facts rather than guesses. So planning will help us in thinking, analyzing, and then choosing the best possible reaction to the situation. Planning will help us in utilizing our resources in such a way that we can achieve our objectives. So thinking before you do something is a part of planning. So when you have planned with all the possible things, you don't rely on guesswork. Moving further to another critical definition we have given by Koons and O'Donnell. I'll read out that also. Planning is deciding in advance what to do. Deciding in advance what to do, how to do, who is to do it. I repeat, what to do, how it is to be done, and who will be doing it. Planning bridges the gap between where we are and where we want to go. If we are at 0 and we want to go to 100, this gap will be bridged with the help of planning. It makes possible things to occur which would not otherwise occur. If you have to move, if you're at 0 and you want to move to 100, you need planning in the process. Without planning, you will reach nowhere. So very beautifully defined meaning of planning by Koons and O'Donnell. There's an example which you can see on the screen. An example of planning could be a situation where you have an objective, such as raising the profit by 25% in the next quarter. So if my objective is to earn a profit of higher profit by 25% from what it was in the last quarter, I need to plan it up first before I do something. Because to get or achieve this particular objective of getting 25% increase in the profit quarter on quarter, I need to evaluate various options by which I can do that. So there's an objective. There are options to achieve that objective. Each option might have a lot of advantages and disadvantages. Each option might have various challenges and opportunities. I need to evaluate them and then probably allocate the resources to that, and then control and try to achieve the objective. So all that will need the first step, elementary step of planning. So there may exist, I'm reading the second line there may exist various alternatives to achieve the goal. This might include designing an attractive advertisement campaign which features some celebrity. So to increase the profit, I need to increase my sales or reduce my cost. To increase my sale, I can take the help of celebrities or reduce my prices. Diminution in price for enhancing the volume of sales, or I might reduce my cost, which is basically controlling my unnecessary expenditure, or I can look for some other market, maybe a foreign market, or I can start some manufacturing unit in a place where there will be some tax benefits which will result in more surplus and more profits. So the manager's role is to opt for alternative which is most promising and organizing the same into logical pattern. So this is an example where a heavy planning is needed. Moving further, planning is an ongoing and recurring function. So if you think planning is a one-off event, which if once done, that's it, you're wrong. You might have personally experienced yourself. Planning needs to be on a continuous basis. You have to frequently revisit your plans. You will have to frequently change your plans. And once a plan is achieved, there will be another plan. So planning is an ongoing and recurring function. Recurring means repeatedly we have to do this. Moving further, why planning is significant? Why should I plan my activities? For that, I have the highlighted statements there. Planning ensures the proper utilization of available resources. So with planning, you can use your limited resources in a way which will benefit the organization, in a way where the result will be optimized. Not only that, with the planning, we will have the capability to comprehend how these resources should be used in order to achieve the goal. Having resources is not sufficient. We should have the mental picture as to how these resources we are going to use in achieving the desired objectives. Not only that, another importance of planning is, with planning we will be able to better manage and deal with our risk associated. We'll be able to control our risk. We'll be able to understand our risk. So these are the reasons why planning is very, very significant. Coming to the steps in planning function. How do you plan? What are the steps in the planning function? The first step is to know what is your objective. If I don't know how much increase in profit I need, there is no question of planning. So when I talk about planning, it is obviously meant that there has to be some objective defined. If you don't have objective, what will you plan for? So there has to be some target or objectives. These objectives should be well defined, clear, simple, easy to understand, should be quantified, should be written down, should be realistic. These are the features of setting up the objectives of our organization or the objective of our planning. So let me read out. The rationale for carrying out a range of activity, the objective also focus the attention of manager on the end result to be achieved. Objective form nucleus of the planning process. So if planning is a bigger idea, the center focal point of the planning is the objectives which we are trying to achieve. Moving further into the discussion, as I've already said, objectives should be stated in quantitative terms wherever possible. Objectives should be practical, acceptable, feasible, and realizable. Hypothetical, unrealistic objectives will not motivate you to achieve them. Moving to the second step in planning. The first step is setting up the objectives. Second planning step would be establishment of planning premises. When we say planning premises, we basically mean the assumptions or the scenarios on which we are going to do the planning. The assumption could be internal premises, internal assumptions, or external assumptions. Internal premises could be that we will not have any funds available. That could be one premises based on which we have to do the planning. Or the internal premises could be that there will be only 100 workers available, or only X amount of money will be available for investment, or the number of machines available would be limited. There has to be some premises based on which you're going to plan it up. Premises is basically the assumptions or the grounds on which your planning will stand. The external premises could be, the external assumption could be that the economy will grow at 6%, that there will not be any disturbance in the economy, that the industry is going to grow at 12% annually, that the tax rate will be 30%, that the exemptions or benefits provided by government will continue. These are the assumptions based on which you will have to plan it up. The third step in planning is finding out all the possible alternatives by brainstorming your mind to understand what are the possible alternatives which we can adopt to achieve the desired objective. Each alternative might have its own pros and cons, and we have to evaluate each alternative in light of the resources and the capabilities which we have, and the best alternative needs to be chosen. I repeat the 3 steps which we have. The first step is to set the objective. Second is to set the premises. Third is to set the alternative which we're going to follow to achieve our objective. And the fourth one is formulation of derivative plans, which basically means formulating sub-plans, supplementary plans to achieve the opted path. To achieve the best alternative which we have already chosen, we need various plans, sub-plans, supplementary plans, which includes policies, procedure, rules, programs, budgets, schedules, etc. Example, if we are talking about profit maximization, we need to have sub-plans like sales plan, production plan, cost-cutting plans. These are all needed. Moving to the fifth step in planning, and that is securing cooperation. We need to create a team spirit in the organization. The decision should involve, and at least it should seem to involve, the team also into the process. Unless the people in the team feel that they are part of the decision, they will not surrender their work in the achievement of the organization goals. So when team members feel the plan as their own plan, they will be able to give anything required to achieve the success of that plan. So, securing cooperation, I will read the highlighted points. Take in confidence the subordinates so that they feel motivated. Also, we can get valuable suggestions and improvements from them as a feedback process, and they will be more willingly cooperate in achievement of the objectives. And the last step in planning is the sixth one: follow up and appraisal of plans. As and when the plan is being put into motion, we need to simultaneously check if the actions are happening as per the plans, and if not, what are the deviations and the reasons for that, and accordingly modify the plan as and when the situation and the need arises. So feedback, follow-up, appraisal, by whatever name you call, is very crucial in the planning process. Feedback enables the management to take corrective actions for rectifying deviation. Follow-up establishes a link between planning and controlling function. So with that, we end a discussion on planning as a very important and the first function of any management. Thank you so much. This is CA Rahul Ranka.